Hello, hello. Welcome everybody
Hello.
in Facebook Landia, in YouTube Landia, in Roku Landia, and Tejano TV Landia. Everybody watching us all over the place. Saludos. Hi, Norma. Surprise. You
Hello.
Thursday. Normally we're here at Sunday, 2 p.m. But this is a special show. This is a special Father's Day show so that we can have our Father's Day off. So we're recording it today. It's live. We have an awesome guest. And let me tell you how this happened. Norma Salazar says, my lovely co host says, have you had this person so and so on? I really like her. And I said, you know what? I really like her too. And so we weren't planning a show, but here we are with a show because it's about consistency as well. So this show you're watching live today, but you will be able to watch it on Sunday at 2 p.m. our normal time. So without further ado, let's get our superstar in the show, in the mix. Here we go. Saludos.
Saludos, ¿cómo están?
Saludos to everybody.
Hello.
We've got the Sarah Monique, La Única. And let me just right off the bat say when Norma said I love Sarah Monique, it just brought back memories to when we met long time ago in a faraway place. In a faraway place. And we were performing as Los Chicanos. You got to meet my dad and my sister and my brother, and we were actually playing. Yeah, we were actually playing. And I think did we back you up in a song? I'm not too sure.
Yes, we remember we did it at Downtown Far, and I got to perform with you guys there. It was an event in Far. I don't remember what it was for, but yeah, you guys got to help me out.
Yeah, and became a fan since then, and especially when you said that you had won some contest. What contest was that you had won?
At that time, when I was first starting, I had competed at Tejano Idol. I believe it was like the second year that they had done it. So shout out to Liz and Aggie because they were the ones doing that out there in Austin, Texas. So that was what was that, like 2013, give or take, around that time.
Yep.
I had just graduated with my bachelor's degree in social work y dije, ahora sí, ya le podemos darle gas a the music stuff. That's how it all started.
Yes, and when of course, I fell in love with the fact that you said that you won with my dad's song "Ya Te Vi," and I was
Mhm.
like, "What?" So
Yeah.
that was so awesome.
Yeah, one of
So
my favorite jams to this day.
yes, yes, yes. I mean, well, what can I say? So anyway, so when Norma said, I love Sarah Monique, I said, I love Sarah Monique too. I said, let's try to get her on. And here you are. So excited to have you. I mean, there's been lots going on, like you said, since 2013, since you won that Tejano Idol. And you had your ups and downs. We saw some of, sometimes Sarah Monique was very, very present in through Facebook Landia, and
Mhm.
then less present, and then here you are again, and I'm so glad to see that you're back with us and getting to it again. So talk to us, what's going on with ceremony?
Pues primeramente, gracias por tenerme aquí en tu show, Giras y Desveladas. So thank you, Gigi, and thank you, Norma, for suggesting me. I always see you showing fan love, mad love on my social media,
Yes.
sharing and being a huge fan. Y saludos a todos que están aquí viendo nuestro podcast of the day or of the night, whatever time you're watching. Well, like you mentioned, I was very active on social media at one point. Like we were talking, I was always posting things and stuff like that. And then,
Uh-oh.
Whoops.
sorry, I got a call.
Oh.
I hope they don't call back. But there was a time where, I was posting and I was active. And from there, I was just interacting with everyone. And then I felt like God called me to sit down and let's have a talk. Let's have a meet and greet type deal. And that's kind of where, I started kind of backing off a little bit on the social media. There was a lot of mental health things that I had to take care of and my spiritual walk as well with God. So that's kind of the reason why I kind of stepped back. And now I'm just in a different journey and in a different mindset. So I'm glad to be, amongst all my brothers and sisters in the industry and of course, the fans.
Well, that's where you belong, and I think maybe, I don't know, I'm just assuming, which I shouldn't, but I think God maybe guided you here. I mean, that's where you're. This is where you're supposed to be. You know, we all have our journey, and He keeps bringing you back. Well, like maybe, maybe it's because you're supposed to be here.
Yeah, well, I think now my mindset has changed a lot, and my goal has changed a lot. Not to say that, there still aren't certain desires that I still want, right? But there are certain things that, God is still working on me and pruning, and but my mindset is a lot different now, using my platform for good and for His glory, and using the stage, as an opportunity to talk about how good He is and what He's doing in my life and what He can do in yours.
That
You
is
know,
so awesome. Go ahead.
I praise that because a lot of people talk about it, but you've been through it. You
Mhm.
have experienced God's grace.
I mean,
And
we all have.
yeah,
We
yeah.
all have. God
And
is very graceful and merciful each and every day.
right. And you're a good example to not be afraid to say, hey, God has me. He
Mm-hmm.
has you, He has me. And I admire that because, it takes a strong woman to come out and say that because a lot of strong women don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad that you're an example. And the
Well,
trials and tribulations that you've been through,
yeah.
he like he shined you like a diamond.
Yeah. There was a lot of crushing, I'll tell you that much.
Oh yeah.
But, I'm not perfect. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not where I was. And
Yeah.
so that's where I see the victory in that. Sarah 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago would have not ever thought that I would use my platform to talk about God. As a matter of fact, talking about God was, at that time, really difficult and like cringy to me because I did, but now it's not that way. Now I see how good He's been my entire life and continues to be even when I don't deserve it. So
Yeah. Amen, girl. Amen. Give props for that. And him and the glory for him.
yes,
Because
amen.
you
I
have
want
an
to,
amazing voice. You do have amazing voice, and that's a gift that God gave you.
Thank you. Yes, I can't take that credit at all whatsoever.
let's say hi to some people. We've got George Vences on, says saludo Queen, Gigi La Chicana Guerrero, and Norma Salazar. And I'm actually going to be interviewed by George Vences at 9 p.m. Texas time. So saludos. He said Gigi La Chicana Guerrero interview tonight with Freestyle. Yeah, yeah,
We'll be there.
I'll be there. Chupacabra Broadcasting
Hey,
says hello, ladies.
hey,
So,
Michael.
Sandra Garza Camacho says hi there.
oh, that's my
Danny
aunt. Hi.
Loyola from Corpus Christi says saludos amigas Gigi La Chicana Guerrero, Norma del Giras y Desveladas y la superestrella y gran cantante y amiga Sarah Monique from
Hola, Danny.
Loyola, saludos. And also Dimas Garcia says saludos ladies. Thank
Thank
you for
you,
everybody
Dimas.
joining. And let me just remind you, we are going to have this show again. It's going to be we're recording it right now live, but it will be on Sundays. If you're watching us here Sunday, if you're sitting down, like after you came from church and you're watching us, we already did this on Thursday. But we're having a good Sunday.
Yes, I hope you're having a good Sunday, guys.
Happy
Yes.
Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to everybody. Yes. And
Happy.
so, everybody, if you're not watching us live, you're watching us on Facebook, Gigi La Chicana Guerrero, Facebook, Giras y Desveladas, YouTube, Giras y Desveladas, or you're watching us on the Roku channel, Tejano TV, which is boasting 500,000 K viewers. And we have our own channel, Giras y Desveladas, on that Tejano TV. So, saludos to everyone from wherever you're watching us. And
And
we have a fabulous and awesome Sarah Monique.
Woo woo.
and we got a comment.
Says, I love your voice. It's unique and powerful. You are blessed. Keep praising the Lord. That is
Thank
so
you, Bobby.
awesome. Carol Garzavela from says hello from Kingsville, Texas. Well, you got quite a fan base with Sarah Monique, and that's as one of those. I know, like when you were on Facebook a few years back, you did, hugging you, praising you, praying for you and your journey, because we all have our journey that we are destined to have. And I'm so glad that that you're back, and that you're we're always working on bettering ourselves. I mean, and maybe we're never gonna finish until we go, right? So, but you are working on it, and it's so positive that I'm glad to see you that you're back. That you're black.
Thank you. I'm not black, but I'm back.
I'm sorry, back in blacks.
No, muchísimas gracias. Just it is a journey. Walking with Christ is a journey. I'm not perfect whatsoever. As a matter of fact, ahora in my study time with him, me dio una buena regañada, which I needed. But it was a reminder of His grace and His love for me. For all of us when we spend time with Him, how much He loves us, and how much He wants us to be better, because He wants us to spend eternity with Him. So. But I'm really glad to be back and to use my platform, in a positive way, and just I'm excited to see what the Lord, what doors He opens and what doors He closes. Even though sometimes we're not excited for those opportunities where He closes a door, but in all reality, there's a reason behind that. So
Yeah.
Exactly. And me, as you well know, and I'm realizing now that I was very, very sheltered. My daddy took very good care of us, and you know, um, when he left us, I realized how much he protected us. He protected me. He protected my sister, because then some people were different. Let's
Yeah.
just say that they were different than what I had known and expected.
hmm
And it was a slap in the face to me, and a slap of reality, that how much my daddy did take care of us, and he took care of things, behind, when we didn't even weren't even looking, which is kind of what our Father God does for us as well.
hmm
So as I go through this journey now alone with my sister, 'cause my brother, who you met over there, he passed in 2017, and then my mom, and then my dad. So it's just me and my sister, and we're, just, I have more than ever before, and I'm sure you have too, through this journey, hold on to God's hand even more,
hmm
and just let Him lead. And if a door closes, I'm okay, and I let it close,
hmm
because I know it's God's doing, and that He's going to open up another one. So
Yeah.
I am good. I am good. Now, before we go on, for those of you who have never heard of Sarah Monique, which I doubt it,
Got it.
You'd be surprised. There's many that haven't.
all right. Well, in case you haven't heard of Sarah Monique, let me just get to some people here. Jenny Torres says, Sarita, mándame saludos.
Oh,
Jackie
hola,
Martinez,
Tina
saludos.
Says.
Hallelujah, ladies. Bobby Castañeda says, Sarah Monique, will you be recording any gospel music in the future? Great question.
So yes, as you know, or if you don't know, I have two already out, which is Supe que me amabas y Yo sin tu amor. My producer and also the songwriter to a lot of the songs and albums that I've recorded, Jerry Alvarez, we co-wrote a song called Rescátame. And so that will be in the next round of release, si Dios quiere. But yes, the goal is to still have, songs that are raw and relatable. Um, and in my sense is like how I've been feeling whenever I am in my one-on-one time with God, how I am feeling. It's not always rainbows and happiness. No, there is a lot of crushing that goes along with following Him. And being tired and weary, but you still turn to Him. So yes, the answer to your question is yes, there is more music in the future, and I'm looking forward to whoever the Lord places, whom I can write more music, that relates to gospel and Christian.
Is it okay, Monique, if I show everybody the one song that really, really got you on the map?
Yeah, go for it. That's part of my testimony anyway.
Is it my favorite song? I bet it is. Please share, everybody. Please
Is this
share.
the one? Did I get the right one?
Yeah.
Jamás lo hubiera creído,
burlar. Sé que fue una estupidez pensar que eras diferente. Resultaste como todos un experto en engañar. Pero se acabó el teatrito, a mí no me va a pasar. Y aunque digas que me amaste, juro que te de olvidar. Esta noche te olvido, te olvido, te olvido, te olvido. Con esta me despido. Odiarte no tiene sentido. No me voy a abaratar, tampoco te voy a llorar. Ya tu espacio está cedido. Esta noche te olvido, te olvido, te olvido, te olvido. Te arranco de mi pecho, ignorarte será tu castigo. No me supiste valorar, por eso te voy a olvidar con esta copa de vino. Y te voy a olvidar, ingrato. Esta noche te olvido, te olvido, te olvido, te olvido. Con esta me despido. Odiarte no tiene sentido. No me voy a abaratar, tampoco te voy a llorar. Ya tu espacio está cedido. Esta noche te olvido, te olvido, te olvido, te olvido. Te arranco de mi pecho, ignorarte será tu castigo. No me supiste valorar, por eso te voy a olvidar con esta copa de vino.
Awesome song.
Ooh, where's my
Love
drink?
it.
That was awesome.
I do want to point out, para los que no saben, or maybe they never put that piece together, it's crazy that even then, where I really wasn't fully seeking the Lord, the end where it looks like I'm drinking, right, the blood of Christ, that's basically the representation of, I'm going to forget you with this glass of wine, but in all reality, the wine represents Jesus' blood. And so that is how I was going to cleanse myself and forget and forgive. And that was the message behind that ending scene.
You know what?
That's
And that's a
awesome.
good point, because a lot of us women don't know how to forgive.
Mm-hmm.
And we carry that cross all the time. So you make a good point in that one. Drinking, don't drink wine. You don't have to.
Yeah, a lot of people associate it with, of course, a drinking song, están tomando.
Yeah.
Pero el mensaje que yo quise dar es ese, like, there was a different type of wine that we're talking about here.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was the message at the end.
All right. So Daniel says, pícale, pícale, pícale. And Chupacabra says, love it, un grito.
Right? I told you.
Definitely. I know you've had other songs that were hits, but I know this one was one of those biggies.
Yeah, so Si Viví Contigo was the first song that opened the door to radio stations. That was the very first song that got me on radio station, both online and and then, of course, ¿verdad? Otras canciones que sí alcanzaron a estar en el radio. But, of course, Esta Noche Te Olvido, it has been the one that skyrocketed and till this day is doing very, very well.
So, a question I do have.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. The question I do have, now that you were away and studying and getting to know each other, you and God.
Hmm.
Now that you're back, how does it feel?
Um, well, I'm excited because I love to sing and perform. The only thing that I think that is a little bit well, let's just say that if I'm not being sharpened daily, there is a risk where, any of us could fall and return back to our old ways. So that, of course, that's what keeps me, I'm mindful of that, because we could be easily swayed away and convinced of doing things. So I know that coming back may not look the same or may not mean to everybody what it means to me, but I'm excited. I'm excited to see how the Lord's going to use me, um, and it may not be a full blown like worship church service, right? But I want to be able to utilize my platform for good in that moment.
I did see you on the last performance where this little girl came up and you made a comment about as many people that there was one little girl that made you happy that you did your purpose.
Right. Well, that day it was San Antonio, and it was Miss Bella who mom reached out, and for those that have been to the shows, and there's an opportunity where there's kids, I always like to bring them up on stage, and I think a big part of that, and the reason for that is because I'll never forget as a little kid, I got to see some artists, and I wanted to be on stage, and it's nearly impossible to get near your favorite artist sometimes, at least back in the day, right? And now it's a little bit more flexible with certain ways of festivals being handled, but that to me is that can make the kids day or that moment an unforgettable moment. Why not? And my husband knows that's a really big deal for me to be able to share the platform with the kids, because they're the ones who are going to keep it alive once we are done, you know and so there's so much room for everyone and so much growth that could happen, and seeing the little ones wanting to do the same thing as you, I think it's exciting. So, and I'm just more grateful too because one of the artists that I really looked up to listening to growing up was Shelly, and Shelly reminded me that dreams do come true. I got to record with her, and although I said it a million times, like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to sing, I'm going to do that. And there's always that little, like, whatever, but it happened. And working alongside Shelly and being able to talk to her, it's surreal for me a lot of the times because I've gotten to meet a lot of the artists that I grew up listening to and always wanted to be like that. And now I'm part of it. So that's why I want kids to experience that as well.
That's cool. Um, we had a guest not too long ago by the name of Geneva. Do you know her?
Of course. Shout
She's
out to
awesome.
Geneva.
And as a matter of fact, you were one of those in that song that she had that I
Cristo Rey.
Tejanos Unidos en Cristo.
yes,
Hmm.
There you
that
go.
was so awesome. But I
Yes.
also have found this other one called En Esta Tumba, and I saw that a lot of people really react to that song and just really take it to heart. And that's one thing I've noticed about you, Sarah, that you really, I mean, your fans really accept, like really take your songs to heart, and just like the words just go like totally into them, and they totally get even involved with the song and the lyrics, and that's your portrayal of the song that's helping them, whatever they're going through, whatever process they're going through, help them. And that is a special gift that you have, ma'am.
Thank
She
you.
has a
Well, I
gift
always
of her.
appreciate it that every song is a story. And more than likely, I'm not the only one that's experienced something like that. And so I like to tell a story with the selections that I choose or what I decide to